Very good. Well, welcome to another episode of Center for Victory's podcast of Your Best Day Yet. We're here to help you unlock, reinforce, and enrich the relationships in your life. How we do that is through personal and professional development. I'm Eric Guy, Chief Victory Officer at Center for Victory. I'm here with one of ours, Zack DelTurco, Executive Consultant and Emerging Leaders Coach. We're going to pick up where we left off last week. We're in the middle of a series on how to really supercharge your future. There's principles that we're walking people through. The past two were, the first one was take a walk, really get to know yourself. Second one we did last week was stay connected, and we're going right into that. And there's some more that we want to delve into there with staying connected. One of the principles that I like the most, and it's just because I like one of the pictures the most, and I printed it out actually from our slide deck. So it's the picture of the wolf pack. The principle that we have here is know your pack and remember your pack. One of the reasons I picked wolves for this principle is just because when they're together, they stick together, and they typically stick together for life. They're extremely loyal. Mm-hmm. They're extremely loyal. I know I shared this story of years and years ago. My wife and I had a wolf hybrid as a pet, and I was a little afraid when we started having kids that, what's this huge dog going to do? But it was amazing, man. That thing was so protective of our kids. I mean, we never had to worry about anything happening. I mean, it was just like watching over them all the time. But man, extremely, extremely loyal. And that's what you want. I mean, one of the things that I say is really your pack doesn't have to be big, but it does need to be solid. Mm-hmm. And I know you've have some tips on that, but I'm just so passionate about that because we spend a lot of time with people who don't matter. You mentioned it a little bit last time when we talked about staying connected, about who's at your table. So you want to go into that a little bit and just give us some more tips there?
Yeah, I think for me, this is definitely a passion point of mine because I'm seeing, especially in the emerging leaders and this next generation, that they're really having a hard time having the face-to-face communication. Okay. So I really believe that if we can help young leaders communicate, young leaders build relationships, healthy relationships, that their future will be better off. And I always say this: you can't get to the wrong place having the right friends, and you can't get to the right place having the wrong friends. Like, that's how important knowing your pack is.
Say that again.
You can't get to the wrong place having the right friends.
Okay.
And you can't get to the right place having the wrong friends.
All right.
So we need the right people in our lives in order to get to where we believe we're called to go. And reality is, there's so many studies that are out there that you will become the average of the 5 closest people you have in your life.
So what does that mean? Like, if I'm looking to better my relationship, like I'm a guy, I've been married for 23 years, right? And I want to better my relationship with my wife. Who does that pack need to be?
So let's just look at this for example.
Okay.
If your friends are at the bar on a Friday night and their wives aren't there and they're complaining about their wives, mm-hmm. chances are, if you want a healthy marriage, you're at the wrong table.
Okay.
But if you want a healthy marriage, you're going to be surrounding yourself with guys who are going on retreats together saying, hey, how can we become better men in our family? How can I become a better husband? So that is the power of the 5. Because you will become the closest of your 5 closest friends. Mm-hmm. I tell this to the emerging leaders people all the time. If you want to be successful in life, quit going to the bar on a Friday night, getting plastered, and wasting your Saturday. Yeah. Grind on Saturday. Work hard on Saturday. Like, this is one of my closest friends. He's a mentor of mine as well. But guess what? It's Saturday. We're recording this for Monday. Yeah. But our values align. Yeah. I want to become more like you. So guess what? My 5 closest friends right now, a lot of them are working on a Saturday.
Wow. Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, just if anything you do, I've heard that, I've taught it. why do people ignore that principle though? I mean, we talk about it a lot, and people will say, I mean, we presented, these whole principles a couple weeks ago to about 900 people. And, you got the head nods. Yeah, we get it. But then they don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you notice any reluctance there? I mean, I notice it all the time,
Yep.
but like with people that are up and coming, they're a little bit more closer to your age, and the people that you're working with, these young leaders, what do you think the reluctance is?
Work.
Work?
They don't want to put work into their relationships.
Okay.
When it comes to picking the college they go to, what car they drive, what boyfriend and girlfriend they want to date, they take the time to do research. But when it comes to friend groups, they care more about being accepted than who's accepting them. So they'll fit in with anybody because they want to be accepted, and a lot of times it's with the wrong people. So it takes work to have healthy relationships. And what I found, and I was doing some research, over the last 20 years, a third of trusted people, friend groups are diminishing. And here's the reason why. Here's one of the reasons why I believe that that's so. You look at where we've come in the last 20 years, a lot of homes didn't have the AC unit.
Right.
So what did they do after work? They went out on the porch. They were interacting with their neighbors. Another thing is the remote garage controller. I don't even have to get out of my car anymore to get into my garage. All I do is have to click a button, take my car right in, and I don't even have to say hi to Bob, who is my neighbor.
Right.
Another one I think is a big for the next generation is social media. A lot of people think that if I have 500 friends on Instagram or 1,000 friends on Snapchat, that they are my friends. But in reality...
You mean they're not?
They're not your friends. Like, if you look at their picture on social media and you like it, that does not consider and qualify you to be their friend.
Right.
So that's really...
That's a good point. I mean, I'm making fun of it, but it happens all the time. It's like, well, they liked it, but you've never met them. You don't know what they do. You don't know if their values align. And getting to your point, right, is like, I just find it interesting that we'll settle for mediocre because it's easy. I mean, I wrote a quote down here, and again, it's a wolf. It has wolf in it, but a wolf doesn't concern himself with the opinions of sheep. But a lot of times we'll fall for those sheep because that's easier.
Yep.
Just that's the flock, and we'll just do it. So it's that whatever mentality they have, whether they have a victim mentality, a poverty mentality, oh, woe is me, I need to go out Friday night and drink. I need to complain about my relationship with my boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, kids, whatever.
Yep.
And that's what happens. You become that group, and it's kind of scary when you think about it. Some of what people are doing. I mean, they're sitting around complaining and whining, and they don't have a strong pack.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they got a bunch of. They don't have a wolf pack. They got a bunch of chihuahuas,
and all they do is bark.
Yeah. Here's another quote here too. I don't know if you'll find this interesting, but it says, and this was from Kipling. It says, "For the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack." I mean, when we're together like that, again, it doesn't need to be these 500 people.
Yep.
If you look at a wolf pack, there's not a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a traditional wolf pack, there aren't many, but those few are strong. Their relationships are strong. They're extremely loyal. So when you're looking for a pack, make sure that those folks are loyal.
Yep.
Make sure they've got your back. I mean, there's nothing worse than people throwing you under the bus, and we complain about that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But we're just not disciplined enough to say, no, that's not okay. This person, I don't want that in my pack.
Mm-hmm.
So really be clear about what it is that you want in your pack.
Yep.
And again, I'm going to say it. It doesn't have to be big. It just needs to be solid. I mean, there are solid people that we can find in our lives. We just aren't patient enough to wait for them, and we're not disciplined enough to go out and seek them. Wolves don't show up all the time, right?
Yep.
Sheep do. I mean, but wolves just don't show up all the time. So we got to be out and go and pursue them.
And to that point, Eric, I really like where you're talking about. It's not about quantity,
Right.
It's about quality.
Right.
And one of the greatest leaders that I've studied who ever lived, he had 12 people that he did life with. But then he also had 3 close people that he kept in his inner circle. So you don't need 500 friends on Instagram or Facebook or on LinkedIn to say, hey, look at me, because what's happening now through studies, it's actually called low constant state of depression, where a lot of these people are believing that they have these friends that they can count on, but when times get tough, they don't have nobody to go to. So they're not depressed to the point where they can't get out of bed, but it's just this low constant state of depression where it's just like not everything's good. I don't have joy, but not everything's bad. I'm kind of in that middle. So knowing your pack and saying, who are the 3 to 5?
Right.
Who are the people that I can go to when I'm having a down day?
And what do they look like? I mean, who do you want to become? I mean, if I could give another tip there, is really who do you want to become, and then go out and then search for that. And if it is, I believe this in my heart, if it is another wolf, if they have bandwidth, I think they'll take you in. You know, whether it's a mentor or somebody like that, because wolves understand that. You know, whatever you want to call them, man. Just the pack, kind of that pack mentality, right? But it has to be strong. So just really keep that in mind. I don't know if you have any more tips here or anything like that, but
yeah, I mean, I kind of just want to circle back around to the becoming the average of your 5 closest friends. I want you to think about a time in your childhood when you got in trouble. Who were the people that you got in trouble with? Chances are you did not get in trouble alone. That's the power of your pack. See, the power of your pack will either push you forward or it will drag you down.
Right. And the pack's stronger together. I mean, I can go back and recollect some things from my high school days. It wasn't too far long ago, but we had a team that did everything together. And I can honestly say I trusted those guys. I just did life with them. We weren't the best singularly, individually. We definitely weren't the best. But when we come together, I mean, we had just our senior year, we had a phenomenal season. And it didn't have anything to do with one individual. It was everybody contributing, but it was everybody was on the same page. And that pack was tight. And when we kind of had that wolf pack mentality. I mean, we did everything together. We ate together on Thursday nights, just after the games. On Saturday, we reviewed tape. We were together. We did things together, and I trusted. I trusted those guys, immensely, and we did great things. Apart from that, we'd have been okay. I mean, but for what we had given to us, none of us, I don't think, were extremely talented, but together we gelled, and we had each other's back, and we pulled each other up, and we were always there, and those things. So that's something to keep in mind, whatever you want to do. I mean, if you want to be a better dad, don't get around losers that don't like their kids. I mean, I don't know how better to say it, but get around other guys that are good dads. And we talked about that last time. If you don't have the blueprint for it, what better way to do that is to be in a pack with other guys that want to do, that want to be better dads. I mean, if you want to be a better marriage, do that. If you want to be a better owner, I mean, one of the biggest things that I've spent the past decade in is a peer group. And these guys are I think they're just giants. I mean, they help me out a lot. I don't know how I managed to get through 6 years of post-high school work, graduate and undergrad, and only have one business class. But I went out and I found a solid pack. I've been with them for a decade. The mentor of that group has brought me along quite a bit, but these guys are solid, man. If you need anything, they got your back. And the friendships there, it's meant for business, but the friendships are really tight. I know I can call on those guys pretty much any time during the day or night, and they're there. So that would be another thing, I think, to keep people aware of. I mean, there are groups out there. You just got to go and find them. And if they're not pulling you up and it's not solid, get out. Think about what you want, and then go and search for that pack. Would be my advice.
And I think, to your point, horse carriers, if one of the horses is carrying weight by itself, it can carry about 1,000 pounds. But if you add another horse that is equally yoked to that horse, you would think, okay, maybe 2,500, 3,000 pounds. But when you put those two horses together, you go from 1,000 pounds that they could carry to 10,000 pounds that they can carry together because they're equally yoked.
Really?
No joke.
You're not making it up?
Go look it up yourself. Here's another thing.
You're a city boy. How do you know that?
Lots of studying. But here's another thing. When you look at the redwood trees out in California,
that's a good example.
Inch down, wide, mile deep. Or how does that go? Inch down,
mile wide.
Mile wide. There we go.
They're roots.
They're roots.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. There's some dead redwood trees that are still standing today because of the root system.
Yeah. Because they hold each other together.
That is the power of your pack.
Yeah.
Having people that will hold you together. When you get weak, you have a friend that says, you know what, I'm going to help you get through this time. When you feel like giving up on your business because you're not profitable, hey, you have that other business owner that says, hey, I've been there and look where we're at now. So find that pack. It takes time. Yeah. It's going to take energy, but I'm telling you, in the long run, it will be worth it.
Yeah. So just to recap, I mean, again, look at this picture. We have this picture of a wolf pack. I mean, know your pack, but get it solid. Whatever you want to do, to go over what Zach said. You're only as strong as the 5 closest people in your network. So whatever that network is, whether it's being a good dad, being a good husband, being a good wife, being a good mom, it could be grandma, granddad, there could be a good business owner. Know who's in that pack and know the strength of the pack. And just remember, a wolf doesn't concern himself with the opinions of sheep. If you're hanging around with sheep, get out of the mediocre, go where there's strength. It does take discipline. It takes hard work to do that, but find the right people. They're out there. Just be a little bit more disciplined, a little bit more persistent about going out and making the right connections. And if they're not the right connections, get rid of them. Know what you want and go out and get it, and surround yourself with those people. So the challenge then, before we get to next week's podcast for folks, challenge that I have for people is really just go out and find your pack. Decide first what you want. It's the sum of the recap really is the challenge. Go out and decide what you want, and then go get those people. Go surround yourself with 2, 3, or 4 people. No more of these, well, I got 1,500 followers on Instagram. They don't care. Like they might be nice people, and we've got a lot of nice fans. I know we have a lot of nice fans at Center for Victory. But we all need the idea here is we all need that pack of
just
people.
Because they give you a like on Instagram or a thumbs up on LinkedIn does not mean they're in your circle.
And we can't be in each other's circles. Sometimes we need those smaller circles to really help us out. So just kind of wrapping up here. If you need help, we're here, centerforvictory.com. You can call us at 724-462-8383. And wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, make sure you make this day your best.